Duck here from the Wild.Arkansas YouTube channel, and it's story time. I ever tell you about the time I caught a murderer? True story. So we were hanging out at a rainbow gathering in Florida, and every year there's two in Florida. There's Acola and Ocala. They're both shit shows every time. Almost always guaranteed, something's gonna go down. Well, on this particular occasion, something wild went down. So, it had already been like a few days into it. Everyone's hanging out. Everyone's chilling. We're partying and just having a good time. And there's a certain set of there's a certain camp group called Projects. And every year they start a tire fire. They'll steal somebody's spare tires off their bus or something, and they'll light them on fire just for shits and giggles to get the hippies pissed. They do it all the time. And my buddy Dice, he was trying to steal my tires first, and I caught his ass trying to steal them off the back of the van, and I fucking shoot him off because he was drunkard and shit, and he only had one arm and one leg. And anyway, he goes wandering back off into the darkness, and it's like probably 10 or 11 o'clock at night at this point. And he goes over to a bus, and I hear him arguing with some more people, and he steals their spare tire when they go back to bed for their school bus, and he rolls that bitch down to a campfire, and he fucking lit that bitch on fire. So a couple hours go by, and I've gone and went and laid down in the van and chilling, and actually I was laying in the camper. I had the camper with me then. I was towing it behind the van, and my friends, I heard pow pow pow. I was like, what the fuck was that? Figuring somebody was throwing fireworks in the fire or something. And then I just kept hearing it, pow 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 pow, and I was like, holy shit. Because now I hear this and people are screaming. I'm like, holy fuck, what is happening? So I wake up, I go to the closet of the camper, I pull it open, and I grab my 22. It's fully loaded. It's an old tube-fed Winchester. And I must have, it'll hold like 20-something rounds. And I grab it, and as soon as I grabbed it, somebody ripped open the camper door and was like, Duck, they're fucking shooting people. You gotta come help us. And I was like, dude, I'm fucking on my way. Let's go. They were like, he shot Dice. We gotta go. And at this point, I'm like, oh my fucking God. Like, locked in. Let's go. So we get out there, and it's dark. It's so dark out. The only thing you can see is from like the fire lights and whatnot. And I get down there, and there's like, people are starting to use flashlights. And there's headlights turning on, and you can actually start to see down this road. And, my camp was here, their camp was here. I mean, it was literally like 50 feet between us. And I look at the road, and I hear pow, 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 pow. I was like, oh shit. And I get down behind a tree, and I'm looking, ducking, looking. And here comes this fucking dude out from behind his truck where Dice had that fire. And here comes this guy out. And there's just like hippie mamas and kids and people just running. I mean, running to the woods, trying to get in the trees. And this motherfucker's out there with his gun fully extended in his hand. Bow, 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 bow. Just unloading at random people. Like, I mean, there's just literally people getting out of their tents and running. And he's pow, 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 shooting at all these random people. Now I'm like, holy shit. So I get down there, and I'm down by the middle of the road now, and I've got my 22, and I've got him headlocked in my fucking crosshairs, and I'm just following him, and he's running around shooting at people. And I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to shoot this guy in the fucking head and get in trouble and go to jail or some stupid shit. I could have, but I mean, he had already shot two people that I didn't even know at this point. I thought he was just shooting wildly at this point. So, I'm following him in my crosshairs. I've got him locked on. I beated him up right here. I could have taken him out here, anytime I wanted to in this like mass chaos that's happening. I mean, there's people running in front of me, behind me, people smacking me on the back of the shoulders and the head, like, shoot that motherfucker, shaking me, shoot that son of a bitch, shoot him, and I'm just watching him, fucking following him with them crosshairs. He goes back to his truck, grabs another fucking gun out of his truck, comes back out, bow, 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 unloads it to clear the road, just shooting at people. I mean, like, literally just shooting at random women and children and people, like, just, it's crazy. And there's just people scattering, and I'm just like stalwart sitting there, down on the ground, dude in my sights, waiting for him to point the gun at me, because that would have been my chance. But anyway, he fucking unloads his gun and he's out, right? He is out of bullets. He runs back to his truck and dives into it and locks all the doors. Well, one of my buddies, a couple random people run up and stab his back tires and pop them. But it's like a 4x4 Ford F-250, whatever, Super Duty diesel. Like, it's a bad fucking truck, and it had 2 flat tires ain't gonna stop it. So he gets it started and gets it rolling, and he fucking pulls out, and as soon as that motherfucker pointed those headlights, as soon as I saw those headlights pointed in my direction, I went right to the center of that radiator. Just every bullet that fucking gun had in it, I put right in the center of that radiator. Bow, 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 doing a little circle right in the middle of it. And by about the last round, I mean, it was just like whoosh, smoke and fucking water pouring everywhere, and fucking, you could hear his engine starting to screech and whistle and shit. And I'm like, hell yeah. That motherfucker, I threw my gun back over towards the van, and I run over there, and we grabbed a log and hooked a log under his tires as he was taking off. Like, I mean, he's like 4 tires flat. Like trying to fucking make his way out of here. So we hucked a big old fucking, I mean, it was like a tree. There's like 3 of us grabbed this big log and hucked it under his truck as he was trying to drive past us. And he high centered up on that log on the axles and just could not move, spinning tires. And I went over there and I just fucking grabbed a big old rock and smashed his window in, and grabbed him by his wrists, and we drug him out of that fucking window. And when I say about 50 people just beat the dog shit out of him, I mean beat that dude down. There was people running up sticking that dude. There was people running up, fucking one girl ran up and kicked him so hard in the ass her foot went into his ass, and we had to like bleach the shit and fucking piss and blood off of her foot. Like, these one hippies came up and laid on top of him. He's had enough, leave him alone. And I fucking walked over and jumped on his shins, snap, popped both of them. And then a bunch more people dove on top of him and just started waylaying on him. And finally, you know, everything kind of simmers down once this dude's a puddle of muck laying on the ground, barely fucking alive. And we left him there. We just left him in the middle of the road till the cops came. And once the cops came and arrested him, they threw him up on a stretcher, and man, I ain't never seen somebody's limbs pointing that many fucking directions at the same time. It was a sight to see. There was a limb hanging the wrong direction off every end of that fucking bed. But, you know, we got to looking around, before the cops came, after we got this dude caught, after he was down, we ran over and we checked on Smiley. He was dead. Dude shot him right in the fucking head. And we went, and then I immediately went to Dice, because Dice was one of my fucking homies, you know, until he lost use of his body and everybody took over what his life was supposed to be after that fact. You know, we were really good homies, and then after that, you know, everything fell apart. He just, you know, the only information he got was what people told him, and they told him a bunch of bullshit lies about me. You know, I'm still his friend, even though he might have, you know, moved on, but that's alright. You know, I'll still be there. He's still one of my homies. But you know, he killed Smiley, paralyzed Dice from the neck down. Kat, my friend Kat, she got shot at a bunch, and I guarantee that fucked her up because she's had a hard life. And then that dude shot at so many people. But you know, what I was saying is, you know, we're trying to bandage up Dice. We're keeping the fucking blood in. We've got him packed up. You know, trying to keep him alive. You know, there's a dead body to our right, and Dice is right here, fucking bleeding in front of us. And you know, we just held on to Dice and waited a little while, and then the cops finally came. Like, I mean, it was literally like an hour and a half later the cops showed up after all of this. I mean, after everything, it was like an hour and a half till the cops came. You know, the cops come, they're investigating, they're hunting everybody down. They come to me, they're like, "Where are your guns?" I was like, my guns are in my camper. Why? And they were like, "We're trying to figure out where the other gunman's at." And I was like, "Well, there is no other gunman." And they're like, "Okay, well, we need to see your gun and check it, and blah, blah, blah." So they checked my gun and give it back to me immediately, and I loaded it. I fucking threw it back in my closet. And they never found any 22 shells. I guess the hippies policed the brass and all that shit. But yeah, no, we caught that motherfucker after he did that. Took him down. He went to jail for a little while. Of course, he gets out because he's like medically chair bound or whatever for a while. And, you know, they take him to court, and this motherfucker's like, "He tried to hit me with a shovel." Like, you're telling me that a one-armed, one-amp, double amputee is gonna hit you with a fucking shovel and it's enough for you to get a gun out? Fuck you. Fuck Florida. Fuck them both. Because Florida ruled in favor of that fucking piece of shit and said that he was in the right to protect himself from a one-armed, one-legged man with a shovel, even though there was no shovel found. There was no shovel found where they were at all. And it turns out what started all of it, dude walked up with his phone and said, "Oh, you guys can't be doing that. Don't burn tires. You can't burn tires. It's bad for the environment. I'm going to call the police." And then he took a video with his phone of the fire and them at the fire. And Dice I think Smiley walked up to him and grabbed his phone and threw it in the fire. And then that guy went and got his gun, came back and shot at him. Like, that's what really happened. The true story of what really happened is that guy had his phone thrown into a fire, and instead of just being a man and fighting someone, he went and got his gun, shot two people that were drunk at a fire, sitting down, shot both of them, and then shot wildly at a bunch of random women and children in the woods. I watched him with my eyes walk into the road as people were running and screaming and just bow, 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 shoot at everything that fucking moved. I watched him do it with my eyes. Watched him do it through the scope of my rifle. Watched him shoot at random people for no reason. And he got away with it. He got away with it. And guess what happened? Few years goes by, that motherfucker got arrested for CP and SA on Little Ends and all that. That motherfucker should have died that day. He should have died that day. Now he's in jail for SA and CP and, you know, all that stuff. Everything against kids. That man did it, and now he's in jail for it, and he shouldn't have been fucking alive to do it. Like, that was the only fucking regret any people should have about that motherfucker. But yeah, no, we caught him. Cops came, arrested him. We caught a murderer. You know, if it wouldn't have been for us, he would have fucking drove out of that forest with 4 flat tires, no problem. You know, he'd have just left. And no one knew his name, no one knew who he was, nothing. He could have just left and gotten away with it in a complete other way. But instead, he got away with it by lying and the fucking court system being corrupt as fucking Florida. Because who's gonna believe a bunch of homeless people compared to some dude that lives in Florida, like who came to the homeless people's festival and started trying to kill homeless people? Like, I think it was a part of his fucking agenda the whole time. Why the fuck did he have 2 guns? Why'd he bring 2 guns to a hippie festival? Explain that to me. Like yeah, I had a .22 rifle in my closet put away because I live in my fucking car. Not just I brought 2 separate pistols to a hippie thing and like shot 2 people, tried to shoot 2 people to death, and then tried to shoot a bunch of other random people. Like, it never made sense that they let him get away with it. Like, they call it castle law. I call it bullshit. Bullshit. He should have went to jail for murder. Like, hands down. There was no shovel. They threw his phone in the fire and he got mad about it. Like, get real. But anyway, yeah, that's that story. Hey, pretty cool story. But yeah, we'll see you next time.